Right now, a very strange situation is unfolding around Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Bubba Wallace. A post about Bubba Wallace suddenly started spreading across NASCAR social media, and according to that post, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had finally said something very direct about Bubba Wallace. Fans immediately reacted. Some people agreed with Dale Jr. Others thought Bubba Wallace was being unfairly criticized. Within hours, the post was everywhere. NASCAR fans were arguing, debating, and trying to figure out one thing. Did Dale Earnhardt Jr. really say this about Bubba Wallace, or is something else going on here? Because the truth behind this story is actually far more surprising than people expected. And at the same time, Bubba Wallace is also preparing to drive one of the most unusual NASCAR cars of the season. So what exactly is happening here? Let's break it all down. But before we go deeper into this story, if you enjoy NASCAR news, drama, and stories like this, make sure you subscribe to NASCAR Nation News. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy this content, your support really helps the channel grow. Now let's get back to the story. Let's start with the moment that caused all the confusion. Recently, a quote began spreading online claiming that Dale Earnhardt Jr. had criticized Bubba Wallace after his latest on-track issues. The quote made it sound like Dale Jr. was frustrated with Bubba's driving and mistakes. And because Dale Jr. is one of the most respected voices in NASCAR, fans immediately believed it. The post exploded across social media. People started debating it. Some fans said Bubba Wallace needed to change his approach. Others defended him. But there was just one issue. The quote going viral was fake. Dale Earnhardt Jr. eventually reacted to the situation, and his response was pretty clear. He explained that the quote being shared online wasn't something he actually said. In other words, fans were arguing over something that never even happened. This kind of situation shows how quickly rumors can spread in the modern NASCAR world. One post, one screenshot, and suddenly thousands of people believe it's real. And unfortunately, Bubba Wallace ended up right in the middle of that storm. But the truth is, Bubba Wallace didn't need fake drama to create headlines, because his last race already created plenty of attention. At Martinsville Speedway, things went very wrong for Wallace. Late in the race, tensions were high, drivers were fighting for position, and in a tight restart situation, contact happened. One small move quickly turned into a huge mess. Cars spinning, smoke everywhere, and multiple drivers caught in the chaos. When the race ended, Bubba Wallace finished near the very back of the field. A brutal result. And moments like this are extremely costly in NASCAR. One bad race can destroy the momentum you built for weeks. That's why veterans in the sport often repeat the same advice. Be aggressive, but be smart. Because finishing races is sometimes more important than trying to win every corner. This is something Dale Earnhardt Jr. understands better than almost anyone. He spent years dealing with pressure. Every race, every move, every mistake, all under the spotlight. And that's why fans always pay attention when Dale Jr. talks about drivers like Bubba Wallace. Not because he wants drama, but because his experience in NASCAR carries serious weight. Right now, Bubba Wallace is in an interesting situation this season. At the start of the year, things looked promising. He had solid speed, good finishes, and many fans believed this could finally be a breakthrough season for him. But NASCAR seasons are long, and momentum can change very quickly. One race can shift the entire narrative. After the Martinsville chaos, the conversation around Bubba Wallace started changing again. Critics began pointing at consistency. Supporters reminded everyone that racing incidents happen to every driver. And then, another headline appeared. But this time, it wasn't about a crash. It was about something completely different, because Bubba Wallace is about to drive one of the most unique cars in NASCAR this season. At the Food City 500, Wallace will be driving a special car inspired by WrestleMania. Yes, NASCAR and WWE are officially crossing over. The car features bold wrestling-style graphics and branding celebrating WrestleMania. And naturally, fans immediately noticed it. For some NASCAR fans, the idea is exciting. It brings together two massive entertainment worlds, racing and professional wrestling. Both are loud, both are dramatic, and both have incredibly passionate fan bases. So seeing a WrestleMania-themed car on track definitely grabbed attention. But not everyone loved it. Some traditional NASCAR fans questioned the crossover. They wondered if promotions like this distract from the actual racing. Others simply thought it was fun and different. And honestly, that debate happens almost every time NASCAR introduces something new. But here's the interesting part. All this attention might actually help Bubba Wallace. Because in NASCAR, momentum can change very quickly. One strong race can erase weeks of criticism. One good performance can completely change the conversation. And the upcoming race will not be easy. The Food City 500 takes place at Bristol Motor Speedway, one of the toughest tracks in the entire sport. Bristol is short, fast, and incredibly aggressive. Drivers constantly battle for inches. Contact happens almost every lap. Tempers explode, and chaos is always one corner away. For Bubba Wallace, this race could be extremely important, because if he performs well, the narrative changes immediately. The fake Dale Jr. controversy disappears. The Martinsville crash becomes old news, and suddenly people start talking about Bubba Wallace's comeback. But if things go wrong again, the pressure only increases. That's the reality of NASCAR. Every race writes a new chapter in a driver's story. Sometimes it's a victory, sometimes it's a disaster, and sometimes it's controversy. Right now, Bubba Wallace is standing right in the middle of all three. A viral rumor involving Dale Earnhardt Jr., a costly crash at Martinsville. But what makes this situation even more interesting is how quickly things can change in NASCAR. Just a few races ago, Bubba Wallace looked like a driver building serious momentum this season. The speed was there. The team at 23XI Racing looked competitive, and fans were starting to believe that Wallace could consistently run near the front. But racing is unpredictable. One mistake, one crash, or one chaotic restart, and suddenly the entire conversation around a driver changes. Now with the spotlight growing even bigger, especially after the viral situation involving Dale Earnhardt Jr., the pressure on Bubba Wallace might be higher than ever heading into the next race. And a WWE-themed race car that everyone is talking about. All at the same time. So the big question now is simple. What happens next? Will Bubba Wallace respond the best way possible? By delivering a strong performance on the track, or will the struggles continue to follow him deeper into the season? One thing is certain, the NASCAR world will be watching closely, because when stories like this start building momentum, they rarely stay quiet for long, and the next race might tell us exactly where Bubba Wallace's season is heading.